You're listening to the Bust-Proof Business Podcast, taking your business to the next level by taking you out of it. With our experience and proven results, we'll help you find the success that many crave, but only we can help you achieve. It's time to get started with your host, Greg Murphy.
Hey guys, it's Greg Murphy from the Bust-Proof Business Podcast. I'm here with my good friend Erica Harney, who is a PhD candidate for organizational leadership and the executive director of the Accounting and Financial Women's Alliance. So today she's going to talk with us about the ROI of social responsibility. So first, Erica, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I currently am working as an executive director and oversee a national membership association for women, of course, in accounting and finance. But prior to that, all of my experiences around grant writing and fundraising. Right out of college, I went straight into working with nonprofits and started at the food bank that covers Central and Eastern Kentucky, and moved on from there into a variety of roles, and even as a consultant in not only grant writing and fundraising, but also strategic planning and organizational management and program management and design, all that kind of fun stuff that nonprofits do.
So that's your background is nonprofits, but you're also an entrepreneur yourself. I know that one of the things you do is Truffle Diva, trufflediva.com, and I've sampled some of the mint chocolate truffles. They're amazing.
Thank you.
So as an entrepreneur, can you tell us, first off, what social responsibility is, how you define it, and why is it important in a business?
So the underlying piece of social responsibility as a business owner is to make sure that the community that you're doing business in is doing better than where you started. So making sure that your community is taken care of in terms of what you contribute in socially, cultural, and economic, say even environmental issues and all of those areas within the community, and also behaving ethically as a business owner. And so I think that's important as a business owner, whether you're small or large, because it's helping other individuals and organizations and having a positive impact and making sure that it's part of your brand and to show that you care.
Right. And so obviously it's hard to make an argument to say social responsibility sucks. Let's not do that. It's hard to make that argument. But on the other hand, like it is yet to be proven. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. So can you sell me on the fact that it's good for business outside of being a good person and a good actor in the community? What kind of return is there on that investment? Let's talk, before you answer that, let's talk about 6th Street. Is it 6th Avenue, the brewing
West
company?
6th.
West 6th.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
My friends at West 6th.
Okay. So let's talk. Before you answer that question, let's do it in terms of that company in particular.
Sure.
So I had one of their beers the other night. It was amazing. And they give a certain 25 cents or something for every beer that you buy or something like that to the local community. So
I have no idea the amount, but yes,
there's some amount
they give
of money.
a lot.
And it says on the can even. It even says it on the can. So I hedge your answer in terms of that business, I guess, if you can.
Yeah. So they're a really great example of not just social responsibility because they built their business in terms of giving back. They purchased the old Rainbow factory, the old Rainbow bread factory that had been abandoned for decades. I mean, so they took a piece of property that was in shambles and in disarray and turned it into an amazing facility. So they have, of course, the brewery and really fantastic beer. But part of that, one of the owners and his wife, she runs an organization that's within the whole bread box factory, the space that they have, and called Food Chain. And the spent grain from the brewery goes to feed fish that are in Food Chain, and the wastewater that comes off of raising the fish goes into their microgreens and other like plants that the water feeds the plants and so on. And then the microgreens and other like vegetables or things that are grown there go into the restaurant that is attached that Weena Michael opened Smithtown Seafood.
And the fish is served there as well?
I believe so. It's tilapia, but not everything, of course, is tilapia. They have catfish and so on. So all of it's kind of a continuous circle.
And why is that good? Why do you think that that's a good return for them?
Well, I think it's been one of the biggest selling points of their business. I think that a lot of us that live in Lexington or even grew up here see the benefit that they're giving to the community, whether it's with Food Chain or other organizations. There's even the Plantry that's based upstairs. You've also got Broke Spoke that's in the back. That's a community bicycle repair shop that you can go and fix your bike with the tools that you usually won't have. They have them there for you to use. But it's, I think, just a really great selling point for them. And people would prefer, if they're going to buy a beer, they would rather buy a beer that's giving back to their community versus a beer that isn't.
Yeah, and I went to Joseph Beth. That's also a local, I mean, that's a independently owned bookstore. And they talked about on their wall, when you check out, it says, if you buy local, then so many, it has a 3.5 time impact with the dollars they stay in your community, yada, yada. So I think that is a selling point. Okay, so let's talk about the dollar book swap. So I think that with what we do, what we're trying to do, you know, we give a book away for every book that we sell. And we have events for the local community. And obviously we're not able to source locally because there's just not that many books. We go through about 60 tons a week. So we have to source otherwise. But I think that we're doing a good job. What do you think we can do or other local businesses can do to have a better impact on their community?
There's a lot of stuff that any business can do in regards to being more socially responsible. And first being their business practices, hiring local, sourcing local where you can. You know, something that may not always be in the best interest of your bottom line, but is good for the community, is going to be a business practice that supports social responsibility. You also have, of course, in-kind support, maybe giving, of course, books would be one, but providing products or services to organizations in kind in which they recognize the value of it. That's another one. You can always do, say, workplace giving, or if you did employer matching. So the company could always match their employees' donations up to a certain amount to any organization that their employees give to. Of course, there's always, you know, fun events that nonprofits and organizations are putting on that you can be, of course, a sponsor or a donor to. You can also allow your employees volunteer time, like paid leave kind of deal, where you encourage them to volunteer, say 8 hours a month or so many hours a year, and that's paid time for them to go and volunteer with an organization. Or even having, you know, it's really more of like a team building thing if you all volunteer together in doing something like that.
Let's talk about that money, right? Let's talk. So how is it then that doing these things, because we're talking about an ROI, right? A return on our investment. So how do these things translate to dough?
Well, and that's the hard part in terms of measuring, because it may give you, say, increased traffic. So unless you're like surveying or asking your customers where they heard about you or where they saw your name, that's really going to be the only time you can actually quantify. But if you're getting more sales, you're getting more people in the door, you're getting more website traffic, you're getting even, say, local stories or news about your organization or business, that all translates into hopefully sales. You convert these people into customers and increasing your bottom line.
So then we're looking at and we should be looking at this as a branding cost.
It absolutely is a marketing cost. I mean, it of course you should always refer to your tax professional, but yes, it's a marketing cost.
I don't mean in terms
that can be deductible.
I don't mean in terms of like, I'm saying when we're doing these things, we should think about it like brand building. We do a lot of things. We invest in graphics and we invest in how we want the store to look. And so we should also invest in our brand, what we want to mean to the community. And for the dollar book swap, and I know for West 6th, that it's about like, let's give back. Let's make this a community business. It's not just a corporation.
Right.
We want to serve people. And it's a great idea for them, especially with, it's just the grain that's like,
they're going to toss it anyway.
And for these are books that unfortunately we used to recycle beforehand. So yeah, I think that we're in a unique position. And I think that a lot of companies and a lot of the people that listen to this are people that are solo operators of an online business. They might even work out of their home.
Right.
And so what I tell people all the time is that, it's always about branding, like building relationships and things. So how do you and this is something that I did not prep you for. So let's see how this goes.
Oh dear.
How do you think someone that just works alone, whose basic business is buying books from individuals or from stores or from communities, how do you think they can have an ROI with social responsibilities? That's something that can be done as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all scalable. I mean, even with doing Truffle Diva, donating truffles to like silent auctions, or donating truffles for like fundraising events. It was just me making truffles. So that was my way of giving back, especially to women and girl organizations, by just donating product. So you can do that. You can always pick your favorite organization that you want to work with and just stick to that, whether it's, say, a literacy organization or a kids organization, and donating items or cash or time. And
I will, I guess to a lot of you guys that are selling, that might sell books on Amazon or whatever, I would say, you can use this you can volunteer at your local library sale. That helps your personal brand or your company brand. You can also, the books that you can't sell online, you can sponsor one of those free little libraries.
Yes.
Have you seen those, Erica? The ones that are like just a little box that they have.
And you can get the building instructions online too.
Yeah. Or you could, if you're not super handy, like some people that are listening maybe, you can just, they already exist in the wild, and you can take the books to them.
And you can just put the books in them, yes.
Right, yeah. So, Erica, why do you think that more companies don't realize this? I mean, now that we're in the era of social media, where people are getting stuck for doing all kinds of dumb things, and it's not super expensive to say, like, to try to do the things like that some of these businesses are doing. Right. Why do you think that more companies don't do this?
I think, one, it's a choice, and for some business people, this to them isn't the highest up priority. It's not something that speaks to them, which, I can understand. But, and it also affects their bottom line. And in terms, they have stakeholders that they're responsible to, or business owners that they're responsible to, and it may not make sense for their brand. So I can see why people don't do it, but at the same time, I just think anymore, if you're not doing even something, like just a little bit, you're not helping yourself, because anymore people expect as a customer that a company is doing something beneficial to their community. I don't care if they're recycling, if they're giving things away, they're giving time away, whatever. I think we've come to expect it anymore, that a company is doing some sort of good. So I think we'll see fewer and fewer of those businesses
that are just
that are not doing anything.
Like, okay. Now, so now you obviously have a background in nonprofits. You do grant writing, all that fun stuff. Now, how could private companies like the Dollar Book Swap better coordinate with nonprofits, especially in literacy? Because for us, we had to recycle last month or the month before 40 tons of children's books that were perfectly great, because we weren't able to coordinate effectively with the nonprofits to be able to give them away.
So if you're looking specifically just at literacy, then I would say find any organization in your community, and there are whole councils or sources for identifying those organizations, or even a simple Google search to find which nonprofits are serving kids or adults in literacy efforts. Or even if it's part of a greater program, like a domestic violence center may have a literacy program for the kids that are staying there, as an example. And then just sharing with them what you want to do. It may be a good fit for some more than others, but as long as it's something that you're passionate about and sharing that passion with that organization and telling them what you would like to do, and then asking them if that fills a need for them. Or you can just ask them, what do they need? And maybe that's something that you do have on hand, or you can contribute it in a different way.
So we talked a little bit before about a foundation, right? So one of the problems with the Dollar Book Swap is that we don't have the time. Our team doesn't have the time to do all these things. So it's possible to start a nonprofit foundation that would then get these books, be better set up to be able to get these books to the organizations that need them.
Facilitate the process.
And is that common?
There are foundations that do that kind of work that will take, items that are not used or taken from, companies that no longer need them and find a resource for them or find a new home for them. It's just going to depend, I think, on the area. I mean, animals versus literacy versus kids, that kind of stuff. But there are, a variety of organizations, including foundations, that will facilitate that.
Okay, so then let's talk about the Girl Scouts. You've been a Girl Scout for a long, long time.
Yes, over 20 years. I'm still a Girl Scout.
You're still a Girl Scout.
Still a Girl Scout.
So you never stop, once you're in it, you can't get out. It's one of those kind of things
once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout. Yeah, like Fight Club. That's a great example with Girl Scouts. So, and then for my 18th birthday, my Girl Scout troop purchased a lifetime membership for me.
Oh, that's really
that
cool.
was like my graduation gift.
How much does a lifetime membership cost?
I think back then it was like maybe $100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know it's changed now, but.
So, I have a daughter who is 4, and she can be a Girl Scout when she is how old?
In kindergarten.
So
like 6-ish.
Okay. And so why is has Girl Scouts really, I know this sounds weird, but we're going to get to the cookies, so it's going to make sense. So Girl Scouts been a big influence on you?
Absolutely.
And so how's that helped you to do everything you're doing?
It's been really the foundation for so many things, because it's a great way to learn things outside of what you get at school or books, with Girl Scouts, I was able to, travel to so many places. I was able to experience so many things that I wasn't going to necessarily, experience with my family or in school. And it just was a phenomenal learning experience. And that turned into essentially scholarship that paid for school, for college, because of my Gold Award project. It had given me, the opportunity to serve in leadership roles and exposure to international travel opportunities. It just has run the gamut as to what it's done to benefit me.
So you would definitely recommend it to young girls and young women.
It's always the experience.
Did you get beat up a lot in school?
No.
For being a Girl Scout?
Oh, gosh, no.
Because is there like a karate merit badge or something? Is that what they're called? Are they called merit badges?
No, and Boy Scouts are called merit badges.
Okay. And what are they called in Girl Scouts?
Badges. Well, and then for brownies, you've got triets. Daisies are, they have like leaves and petals that make up a daisy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But no, boys have merit badges. Girls have
And nothing
badges.
in martial arts to protect you from swirlies?
There might be a badge in there around
But it wasn't the coolest thing in high school.
No, it definitely was not. But I didn't care. And, when cookies came around, I was the cool kid with a locker full of cookies. Right. And there were times, I honestly, I just didn't care. I wore my uniform to school in high school. Like full on, like,
No,
you know
you
what?
didn't do
Oh,
that.
I did. I did. Because I was, I would wear it to school because you laugh, but like one afternoon I had to leave school early to go and help the Girl Scout Council present to the United Way for their grant funding presentation.
And without your uniform, you wouldn't have been able to
makes
do
a big difference.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to save you from yourself and move on to talk about Girl Scout cookies specifically. So is it true that, like, just like Keebler Elves, that the younger girls have to make all the cookies in the factories? No?
No, not
That's
anymore.
Not true.
It's not true.
I thought that was a thing.
No, it's not a thing. No, no, it's not.
So then how does the cookie program work? Because there's been a little to do about that. About like, is it a fundraiser or is it something else?
It's a program.
Okay. So what's the difference?
So the difference being with a program and the income that comes in from cookies, it's program related income. And that means that there is kind of curriculum, if you will, just around the selling of cookies. So learning how to be a better public speaker, a better salesperson. Really, the Girl Scout cookie program is the world's largest girl-run business. And so, fundraising is different in that you are asking somebody to support a mission, and there isn't always impact in which a girl's learning something like from that process, right? So the program itself has that education component that girls are building skills every day because of.
So we talked about when we were talking about the Girl Scouts before off air, we talked about how we at the Dollar Book Swap, we have the little kids that'll come up and their moms will ask if they can have a little cookie booth in the book swap. We do one a year. You suggested that we should have let the older girls come and do that. And what is the difference between having the cute little brownie troop girls and the young women in high school? What's the difference?
So, I say little girls, so daisies and brownies, sometimes juniors. And
really, this is all like N words for Girl Scout, like age groups, right?
Yes, those are age groups. So all the girls that are, say, in elementary school and younger, like middle school, like 6th grade, that kind of stuff, it's actually, easy for them to sell cookies in that, yes, they're cute.
Yeah, and they're adorable.
Yeah. Oh, of course I'm going to buy a box of cookies from a 6-year-old. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? But the thing is, like, the money that troops get from their cookie sales, they use to put back into the programs that they want to do. So for, a brownie troop, that might be like a trip to a zoo or something like that. For the older girls, though, their troop can take that money and choose to, send all of them or even just one on, say, an international trip or a trip that is a particular theme or place in the U.S. Like, my troop, my senior year in high school, decided to support my trip to North Dakota. And there were about 30 other girls from around the country on this trip. And for 2 weeks, we traveled around North Dakota. It was the Lewis and Clark and beyond. Went to all these interesting places in North Dakota. We canoed the Missouri. We hiked in the Badlands. We went horseback riding in the Badlands.
Okay, because I was about to make fun of you for going to North Dakota, but now it sounds awesome.
Now it sounds awesome, right? We painted Custer's fence as a service project. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. And that was supported by cookie money.
And not only that, like, the teenagers are actually selling the cookies themselves rather than their mothers.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean, the goal of like teaching entrepreneurial skills to young women is they grasp it a little bit better at that age than they do at like 7th grade. Because I know when Sid is a Girl Scout, like, everybody is going to be buying.
Because it's cute. So yeah, high school is not easy, but at the same time, the rewards are huge.
Yeah, awesome. Erica, thank you very much for being with us today. And you guys make sure to go to trufflediva.com. She's going to be making truffles for Christmas this year, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. So, guys, I think that went really great. Erica Harney is amazing, and I'm really grateful that she took the time to be on the show with us today. But one of the things that I think is super important to make clear is that our whole business, our local business for the Dollar Book Swap and everything that we do in the local community, all of that is based on social responsibility. I don't know if I made that clear or not, but that's what it's all based on. And it is also marketing, right? There's nothing wrong with it being both things at the same time. And you can do good. You can do well. How does that saying go? Man, now I can't think of it. You can do well by doing good. That's something that is definitely important to understand. And the world would be a better place if more people did that kind of thing. And the thing that's the most interesting to me is it doesn't even matter what the motives are. We don't need to know the reason why Coca-Cola is starting a recycling initiative, just that they're trying to save more things from being thrown into landfills. So I hope you guys had a good time with this today. I think that this is a point that we really need to think about and think hard on. How can we show social responsibility in our local communities, in our businesses? As entrepreneurs, we're really great at thinking outside of the box. Let's try to apply that to helping folks out in our own community, trying to figure out a way that we can bring attention to ourselves and what we're trying to do while at the same time helping other people. So as always, guys, remember, make today count.
That's all for this episode of the Bust-Proof Business Podcast. Be sure to point your browser to bustproofworkshop.com to sign up for our mailing list and to get your opportunity to enroll in one of our specialized seminars, guaranteeing you continued results in typical Bust-Proof fashion. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to taking your business to the next level right here on the Bust-Proof Business Podcast.